Hey everybody, Dr. Nelson here. This is a video about writing the equation of a line when all you know is just 2 points. Alright, so we're going to do one problem together, so take notes with me, and then you have a chance to try the same type of problem on the next page, and then at the end you can see how you did. Alright, so here's the scenario. We have 2 points on a graph. Alright, one is at location 2 and 4, another one is at location 5 and 10. And I want to know the name of the line that goes through those 2 points. Okay, remember when I say the name of the line, I'm talking about the equation. All right, so our goal is to come up with an equation written in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to write this down: y equals mx plus b format. Okay, that contains these 2 points. All right, so what I did is I came up with a 6-step process to do this. All right, so step number 1, what you do is you use the 2 points to determine the slope of the line. So you should know by now, to get the slope from 2 points, you use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right. So let's identify the 2 as our x1, the 4 as our y1, the 5 as our x2, and the 10 is our y2. So it's going to be 10 minus 4 over 5 minus 2. And that's going to end up with 6 over 3, which reduces down to 2 over 1. So that right there is step number 1. Step number 2, we need to replace the m, okay, with the slope value. So I'm going to replace this m right here. Actually, I'm going to erase it with a 3. All right, excuse me, a 2. Alright, so 2. Step number 3, we're going to plug in an ordered pair into the equation. Okay, you have 2 to choose from. Alright, now the whole point of this is to be able to solve for b. So our goal now is to solve for the y-intercept, which is the b. And if you notice, if we know what the x and y is, we can figure out what b is. So we need to figure out what an x and y value is. In fact, we have 2 to choose from. We can use either this point, which has an x and y, or this point, which also has an x and y. So I'm going to keep it simple and just use the first point. All right, so we know that the y value is 4, so it's going to be 4 equals our slope, 2, times our x value, which is another 2, and plus b. And if you notice, we get 4 equals, well, 2 times 2 is 4, plus b, all right, which means b has to equal 0. Alright, so our y-intercept is going to be at 0. So our equation so far is going to be y equals, okay, again, our slope was 2, so it's going to be 2x plus, now our b is 0, so I could put 0 here. But we can just go just with this y equals 2x. Alright, now there's one last step. Now we're on step number 6. What we got to do, we need to test the equation with the other point. Okay, so I'm going to use a different color for this one. So I'm going to plug in 5 and 10 into this equation right here. And when I do that, well, y is 10. So 10 is going to equal, and now we're saying our x is 5. So 2 times 5. And 10 does equal 10, which means that the equation is correct. All right. So let's just real quick go over the steps again. So step number 1, you use the 2 points to figure out the slope. Step number 2, you replace the m, okay, value with that the number, right, which you did down here. So step number 2 was right here. Step number 3, we had to plug in an ordered pair into the equation. That was right here. All right. Step number 4, we had to solve for b. So we got an answer of b equals 0. All right. Step number 5, we had to rewrite the equation with the slope and the y-intercept, which is right here. And the last step, you need to test it by plugging in the other point in to make sure that everything equals out, and it did. And there it is. All right. So what I want you to do, I want you to pause the video and use the same 6-step process, okay, to solve the next problem. And then when you're done, hit play. You can see how you did. All right. Good luck. All right, welcome back. Let's say I do this practice problem, okay? So here I did the workout to save a little bit of time. So we have points 1 and 4 and 3 and 8, Okay, and we want to know the name of the line that goes through those 2 points. All right, so step 1, use the 2 points to determine the slope or the m value of the equation. And when I did that, I got an m value of 2. Step number 2, replace the m, okay, with the slope value. So remember, what I'm referring to that is I'm replacing the m of the slope-intercept form with that 2. That 2 replaced the m. Step 3, plug in an ordered pair into the equation. Okay, you have 2 to choose from. So I plugged in the first pair, the 4 in for the y and the 1 in for the x. Okay. Step number 4, I solve for b. Okay, so 4 equals 2 plus b, which means b equals 2. Okay. Step number 5, you need to rewrite the equation with the slope m, okay, and the y-intercept value. So y equals 2x plus 2. So technically, that's the answer that we calculated. All right. And then number 6, do me a favor, put a star next to this. This is the key one. Okay. We want to test the equation with the other point. So the other point was 3 and 8. So when I substituted the 8 in for the y and the 3 in for the x, I get 8 equals 2 times 3 plus 2, and 8 equals 6 plus 2, which means 8 equals 8, which means it's balanced, which means we're correct. All right, how'd you do?